this has a meaning to a lot of the players. You know, I could have a warehouse and throw a tournament, big deal. But to have everyone meet at Next Level, which has that kind of legacy, there definitely was a time like I didn't know if Next Level would survive. I didn't know if a lot of venues would survive.
With rising vaccination rates in the United States and the lifting of COVID-19 related restrictions in many areas, venues are beginning to attempt to reopen. And as they do, some in-person tournaments and locals are also starting to return. For almost a year and a half, the FGC has had to adjust to running all of their events online, a task that came with its own host of challenges. We caught up with Helst at the first offline New York City Tekken local in over a year to talk about the challenges of running events in the pandemic era, as well as what it will take for the FGC to transition safely back to offline.
Last time I ran an offline event was about a year and a half ago. It was in February of 2020. It's exciting. I'm a little nervous just because it's been so long that I've interacted with other players and just done general TO work. When you do a lot of online, there's not a lot of that face-to-face interaction. It's mostly just typing in a Discord and saying, hey, go play your match with so-and-so. Actually having the people there face-to-face, it's more social interaction than I've gotten in the past year and a half, especially when running a tournament. Originally, we thought, okay, we'll do a few online as holdovers, ECT partners with us to a few things. But as the summer and then into the fall started to go on, it kind of ended up becoming a standard thing. And from a community standpoint, unlike when people just show up and play, everybody has different systems. If you do on PC, everyone has different PC specs. Not everybody uses Discord, not everybody uses Twitter. From a community standpoint, it's hard to really make that kind of unification of getting all these different areas and circles to kind of come together for a single event. I tried to do what I do for these and just keep it very simple, where we started with just doing PC tournaments, which meant we basically had the copies of Tekken 7, which, if you have it on Steam, you're pretty much all set to play. Use SmashCG for brackets. SmashCG has a lot of very good pre-built-in online and self-reporting tools, so you can kind of put a lot of the onus on the players to report, talk to their matches, get it organized, get their scores. The biggest hurdle was definitely getting the word out there, especially when it's just another, I hate to say just another online tournament, but it's a crowded space. When I run an offline, the only things I need to worry about are, is anyone else running another tournament in my area? With the internet, I have to worry about literally every single tournament, and it's almost no way to not have a scheduling conflict. And it's a nightmare to oh, is this day free? Well, no, so-and-so in SoCal is running their tournament. So, do I care? Do I not care? You get a lot of complicated questions as to how you end up defining your tournament amongst the sea of something that's very intangible. I knew early on that it wasn't going to be a 2 weeks to stop the curve thing. I was it's going to be, I was being conservative when I was 6 months, and that'll be if we do everything perfectly, but I wasn't holding my breath. I knew it would be a while. There were times I definitely had a fear of not doing it again, because not every venue survived. And while, yeah, I can move it from Next Level, but it's Next Level. And while there may be fancier, nicer venues, this has a meaning to a lot of the players. I could have a warehouse and throw a tournament, big deal. But to have everyone meet at Next Level, which has that kind of legacy, there definitely was a time I didn't know if Next Level would survive. I didn't know if a lot of venues would survive. And that was probably the biggest fear I had, was if we would have a home when and if it opened back up.
The demand for offline events feels to be at an all-time high. Recently, CEO opened registration for the return this December and hit the registration caps for their games, as well as sold out their host hotel in mere hours. And even though many are in a hurry to return offline with more people getting vaccinated, COVID-19 is still a concern. At the time of this video, New York City has relaxed many of its COVID-related guidelines, such as mask wearing and distancing for vaccinated individuals. But if the pandemic has taught us anything, it's that these circumstances can change on a dime without proper precautions. And for TOs like Helst, finding a path to navigate these ever-changing circumstances while also protecting themselves and their communities will be one of their biggest challenges moving forward.
So for this particular monthly, you need to have proof of vaccination, which can either be your CDC card itself, a picture of a CDC card provided it's legible and we can read the picture, the Empire Pass, which is a New York State digital app you can get on your phone, which verifies your vaccination, or others. I know there's some state-based cards that we also accept as well as a photo ID. We also have no guests, no walk-in day of signups. We closed signups at midnight last night. So if you did not register before then, you do not get to play. It's a zero tolerance rule. We have to stick to them really hard. On top of that, if you're playing, you have to get a wristband. So that way you don't have to get rechecked for your vaccine card every time you come in. And we've also, I know the venue itself, we've gotten more sanitation procedures, hand sanitizer, sanitizing wipes to wipe down any of the setups. A lot of people have questioned why I was pushing the vaccine when the state doesn't require it anymore. I am pushing it because I would rather do more and it be excessive than not enough and someone gets sick. I had COVID in April. It was awful, and I had what was considered a mild case. And I was bedridden for 3 weeks. So I wouldn't wish that on anybody. No one's giving me grief because, executive decision, it's my show, I make the call. If they want to argue about it, it's not an argument. You don't have to come. And that's kind of been a thing I've done, for a long time. If you don't like the rule I set up, okay, don't show up. People questions like, hey, do you only accept certain vaccines? Or, what forms of proof do you accept? Things like that. No one's really outright. And in the end, people make their own decisions. I can't hold a gun to someone's head and make them get the shot. But at the same time, I encourage them to, and I say, I would love to have you. If you can get your vaccine, it's great. If not, there's always next month, and no one's really fought me on it. And if they did, they didn't do it to my face. So the big thing TOs have to really plan for, I know the venues play a part in this as well, is the extra sanitation efforts that need to be taken. COVID is mostly done through air and fluid transmission. So shaking someone's hand usually is low risk, but all it takes is someone to rub their nose, handshake, rub your own nose. So having stuff like a mask on you and having some here to provide to people if they need it, or having extra hand sanitizer, soap to wash their hands, just wipes to wipe down setups, going that extra mile to really make sure we have all the different sanitation tools to help them. For players, they need to be prepared. They're going to be around people way more than they probably have in a year and a half in a close vicinity. So having your mask, having your vaccine, which is a big one, washing your hands, keeping your hands sanitized, those are the most important things that you can really do right now. And players need to be prepared for that. That's not going away anytime soon. I'm always a measure choice cut once person. So yes, it's great that they're back, but we need to continue to do those excessive things. We need to continue to be overly cautious. And if you do too much, what's the worst that's gonna happen? No one's gonna get hurt. But you do too little, the consequences can be extremely grim, and nobody wants that. I know for a fact there's several FGC heads that we lost to COVID, and I don't want anyone to go through it. So I think it's important to do more than you have to do, and plan for the worst, hope for the best. Welcome back.
So how do you feel about offline fighting game events starting to return? Think you'll attend one again soon, or do you feel like waiting a bit longer? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thanks to my patrons for making this video possible. If you're looking to watch something else, why not check out our video on the history of the New York City Tekken logo? Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, if you'd like to support my work directly, you can do so at patreon.com/holdbacktoblog. Until next time.